Well, I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than have to have a frontal lobotomy. I may be drunk, but at least I'm not insane. Because I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than have to have a frontal lobotomy. All right, so I guess people will come in and they'll filter in or not, whatever. I'm easy. So a few weeks back, 3 weeks ago, I did this video on answering broken system, broken trusts, nonsensical question. Hello, Mary Smith. You're the first here. Welcome, welcome. And then I did this video because broken system, broken trust responded to me, and broken system, broken trust doesn't understand personal jurisdiction. And this is the pinned message underneath that. It says, I was trolled by a fake. And then I that's the fake that trolled me. And I said, mea culpa, because you know what? No one likes to get trolled. 13 hours ago, he says, by the way, I just saw this video. You must have a fake BSBT account commenting. And you know what? Oh, your powers of observation, sir. The pinned comment, the pinned fucking comment should have given it away. Oh, you're not seeing this. This was the pinned comment, pinned 3 weeks ago. I was trolled by a fake. Here we go. And by the way, I just saw this video. So yeah, real genius operator here. Well, anyway, he also made this comment. I'll be using some clips from this on live stream. Go ahead, feel free. You're more than welcome to come up and defend your clams. Defend your clams, he says. My clams need to be defended. The first question, should you choose to answer it, is why would you spend 16 minutes explaining a nonsensical question? That's simple. It's because sovereign citizens ask the stupidest fucking questions. And that's why. That's really why. I mean, the problem is that I can't tell the difference between a troll and the actual sovereign citizen. So that's bad. He says, then you went on to explain the complexity and the nuance of the question. Yes, because there was complexity there and there was nuance. And that's why I explained it. Even the troll question had complexity and nuance because the troll question was emulating a soft sit question. He says, then you made a claim about signing a traffic ticket and how that applies to personal jurisdiction, which isn't that crazy of a claim because I have heard judges in other videos making the same false claim. We can easily disprove that claim, but I will save it for the live stream. You're more than welcome to join. So he's going to send me an invite. He's going to send me an invite. At least Merv knows how to go to the channel for live stream commenters now. At least Merv knows for live stream commenters now. Sure. I'm amazing. So, okay. And he says, by the way, if you tag me in videos, I can find them easier. I didn't even see you made this. And I responded, all soft sit questions sound that nonsensical. And yes, it was an imposter, which you could tell because I pinned a comment that said I was trolled by a fake. Steve Miller Talks is using me as background static for the third night in a row. Will this be as revealing as the other two? I learned that Coded Fred is a bigger asshole than I thought. I am also probably a bigger asshole than you thought. Probably. I probably am. However, I am not going to dox anybody's employment or employer because that's the way I roll. So anyway, with the whole if you tag me in videos, I can find them easier. I didn't even see you made this. Well, imagine my fucking surprise when I see this. The fiction of my jurisdiction - new video clips from Merb, Juan Galt, good old Juani boy. Oh, Juani boy, the pipes are calling, and others. And he didn't tag me. He did tag his donations. He did say that you could join the channel for as little as $1 a month. And he's got a merch store. Let's check out the old merch store, Rooney. Oh, you didn't see that. Here we go. He's got to put up his stuff and whatnot. You couldn't see this. You couldn't see this because I'm bad at my job. So this is Broken's store. He has like a Sikh symbol. And we got I love tater salad. I don't know what that means. Broken system, broken trust backwards. Broken system, broken trust forwards. And broken system, broken trust forwards. He's got a lot of women's t-shirts. He must have a lot of the ladies supporting him. He must have a lot of the ladies. I do like, those are just the new arrivals. We'll do the high to low. No, that's just it. That's just it. He's a lady killer. He's a lady killer. Well, obviously, Ryan M., obviously you wouldn't wear it because you're, I don't want to assume your gender, Ryan. I mean, I would never want to do that. But maybe you're just not lady enough for these lady shirts. Okay. So that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. But what I thought I would do today is I thought I would go over this stuff. Tomato/tomato. I don't like buffalo wings. And I don't like buffalo wing sauce. I don't like anything where you have to eat. My wife loves Cornish game hens. They're so fucking annoying. Like, I just want to eat and go. I don't want to around bones. And so I'm not a buffalo wing guy, and I don't do buffalo wing sauce. But I still don't know if you're a tomato or a tomato. So we're gonna watch this, I guess. We're gonna put this on 2 times speed because that's the way we play it. Mary Smith says, "I'm a lady who does not like this. Who does not like babies' lady shirts. That is all." BSBT, not baby. I hate my phone. Yeah, duck your phone.
Do you want the 30 days or do you want to go to trial today?
Well, let's see what the discovery evidence has to say. But first, if they get very first thing out of there, they could send factual evidence to jurisdiction. That would be great. It should be a one-page document. If the prosecutor files this,
Mr. Lanto, you're talking crazy.
Mr. Lanto, you're talking crazy. I am going to drink 12 ounces of beer. So everybody be warned, me drinking this 12-ounce beer means I am an alcoholic or something. Now, I watched that video before, but I'm going to watch it again.
Do you want the 30 days or do you want to go to trial today?
So apparently an offer was made, and he can either accept an offer of 30 days or he can accept a trial being set.
Well, let's see what the discovery evidence has to say. But first, if they get the very first thing out of there, they could send the factual evidence.
So then apparently this is broken system, broken trust down in here in the lower left corner, who wants to see the discovery evidence. Well, you don't get to see the discovery evidence necessarily. I mean, you could always, there's always going to be some horse trading back and forth until trial. Even actually probably the morning of trial, you could probably make a deal or not if you choose. But really, if you want to see the discovery evidence, you have to go to trial, or you have to set it for trial.
Jurisdiction. That would be great. It should be a one-page document. If the prosecutor files this, fantastic.
The evidence of jurisdiction is going to be a one-page document. This is the guy who's never seen one, doesn't know what it is. It's like the teacup that's currently orbiting Saturn is approximately 1.3 meters wide. Well, number one, how would I know how big the teacup ordering Saturn is? And number two, there is no teacup ordering Saturn. That's where our erstwhile friend who didn't tag me and didn't give me an offer or didn't give me an opportunity to defend myself up in here. That's where we're at with him.
Mr. Lanto, you're talking crazy.
Well, I certainly.
But he was talking crazy.
Any government entity willing to use transparency to put truth on the table, 100% on the table for this. We did explain factual evidence to jurisdiction. We did explain it for about a better part of a half hour.
So the judge probably explained jurisdiction. He didn't explain factual evidence of jurisdiction because that's a nonsensical term, as I previously explained.
I was told I was crazy. You didn't understand. Right, but I told I was something crazy for asking for it.
No, not at all.
Well, let's see what the discovery evidence has to say. But first, if they could, the very first thing out of there, they could send factual evidence to jurisdiction.
Yeah, the largest birds ever are coming back from the dead. I haven't watched that. I haven't watched anything in my suggestions list. I watch a lot of fish stuff, and so I don't know why, but apparently they think Clint's reptiles are right up my alley. I don't own any reptiles. 60 minutes of insane boxing knockouts. I mean, I have watched some, but it must be my demographic or something. Fantasy football. I fucking hate sports ball. I do sub to Dan's Fish, so I would absolutely watch this, and I most likely will watch that when I get off this live stream. And then obviously Fats Waller that's my jam, baby. I actually listen to Fats Waller while I'm at work. It's just my jam.
That would be great. It should be a one-page document. If the prosecutor filed this,
Mr. Leto, you're talking crazy.
Right, I told I was something crazy for asking for it.
No, not at all.
But I don't even know. Well, I like that go.
What is this fuckwit talking about? I can't understand it. Let's hear what the stolen valor guy had to say.
No, not at all.
But I won't even let you all know. Well, my wife is that put up with. And those that are so jealous because they can't even get a man have to come up with the shit they do against my wife, that she's not real, that I made her up, that she's a hooker, whatever. Yes, Miss Betsy, she's truly an amazing, fantastic woman. She has the quickest heart of any person I've ever met in my life.
I didn't know that Kimmy Wrangler was a prostitute. I thought she was just a dealer for pain pills and a user, obviously, of course. And she likes to assault police officers from her wheelchair. I don't know, I'll do your mom jokes because they're your mom jokes, and really, it's your mom. Obviously, you shouldn't feel bad about anything I have to say about her because she's even worse than anything I could ever joke. But I don't know. Coming after people's wives and shit like that, I don't know. That's kind of different because it's not your mom joke. I grew up on your mom jokes, Your mom's so fat, the earth orbits around her. That kind of shit,
You didn't understand.
Right, but I told I was something crazy for asking for it.
No, not at all.
Okay, so I'm not crazy. Okay, that's what's important.
You can always challenge jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is something you can challenge for the first time on appeal. One of the only things.
Yeah, so the judge is broken system, broken trust is not understanding what's going on here. You can always challenge appeal or a jurisdiction. Yes, you can even challenge it for the first time on appeal, and it depends on the kind of jurisdiction. You can't challenge personal jurisdiction on appeal, but you could challenge subject matter jurisdiction on appeal, because if the court doesn't have subject matter jurisdiction, any judgment it renders against you is null and void because it didn't have subject matter jurisdiction. A court can't waive subject matter jurisdiction. A party can't waive subject matter jurisdiction. They can, however, waive personal jurisdiction. So, the judge isn't wrong. And normally what happens is after you're arraigned, you would file a motion challenging jurisdiction. So what the judge is saying is the judge says, yeah, you can challenge jurisdiction anytime. Just file a motion. But you're not going to challenge it right here at arraignment. And, well, I'm assuming that's what it's going to say because this is an arraignment, it appears.
You can challenge for the first time on appeal.
Well,
the history is that the previous time the judge number one was going to arraign broken system, broken trust, and broken system, broken trust was a tool bag, and so judge number one ordered broken system, broken trust to be present in court, and there was going to be a deputy there. I think the judge number one was not having any of broken system, broken trust's shenanigans. And ordered broken system, broken trust to be there in person, and intimated that if broken system, broken trust tried shenanigans, that he would be arrested.
We have about 160 people watching us right now that have heard that for the first time that probably don't understand that.
I've had 9.
Don't understand what? That you could challenge jurisdiction? You can challenge jurisdiction. But the way to do it is not to demand someone present, quote, factual evidence of jurisdiction, end quote.
9 surgeries, 2 gunshot wounds, and I still have frag next to my spine. I've had 9.
It's kind of hilarious that Michael Kaiser's currently the whipping boy of the community. But I was watching, who was I watching? Mystery Soft Sit Theater while I was driving home. He had done a stream today, and he was shitting all over Michael Kaiser, and he was playing some other guys who were shitting on Michael Kaiser. And apparently the stream, there were still like 140 or 150 people in the Michael Kaiser stream. So even though both sides think that Michael Kaiser is a piece of shit, there's always going to be that core group. There's always going to be that core group of people who don't fucking care. Like they literally don't care. I'm on your team, and I'm going to stay on your team no matter how wrong you are, no matter how shitty you are. I'm going to be on your team. You could be a lying piece of shit. You could be the suspect, the sole suspect in a murder investigation. You know, you could be all these terrible things, and it doesn't matter. I'm sticking with you because you're on my team. It's absolutely insane. Insanity.
9 surgeries, 2 gunshot wounds, and I still have frag next to my spine. But I don't have a Purple Heart. I've had 9 surgeries, 2 gunshot wounds, and I still.
Thumbs up to, oh, this is from Corrections 101. I think that fuckwit used to comment in my channel. Yeah, some people don't have a good read for others.
Frag next to my spine. I've had 9 surgeries, 2 gunshot wounds, and I still have frag next to my spine. But I don't have a Purple Heart. Actually,
Is this all we're going to do? Is we're going to shit on Michael Kaiser? Because as shitty as Michael Kaiser is, I don't find him very entertaining, to be perfectly honest with you. K-Far's also dumb as a box of rocks, but whatever.
Very important. And we were very at the end.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't ever want to jinx it, but I'm such a diehard Lions fan, like, to the core. So.
What is this? Is this just all shitty memes?
What's up, everybody?
What's up?
We are live.
We are
live.
Live,
All right,
live,
a couple things to go over. Welcome in. What's up, people? Yeah.
Here's something stupid. I have 102 people watching mine. He streamed this apparently 3 hours ago, and he got 80 fucking views, 21,000 subscribers, 21,000 subscribers, and he got 80 views 3 hours ago. I'm showing 102 people in my chat right now. Fucking crazy.
We got people in the house. Looks like we got 4 whole folks that want to show up to see why jurisdiction is a
4. He could count the people in his live chat on one hand.
fiction. Well, it stemmed. Let me give you guys some background. Okay, it stemmed from me seeing a couple.
Hold on a second. He said jurisdiction is a fiction. How, if you're gonna play a game of Monopoly, and everybody always has disagreements on the rules. Let's say you're gonna play a game of Monopoly and you wanted the rules to be one way, and every other person who's playing the game, there's 8 people playing. You're one of the 8 people. 7 other people are like, no, these are the way the rules are. And you said, no, that's not the way they are. And then somebody walks in with a gun and says, look, motherfucker, this is the way the rules are. You have 2 choices. You can either play according to the rules that these other 7 people say are the way to play, or you can play by your own rules, and I'm going to shoot you in the head. That's society. That's society. The way that the judges interpret it is all that matters. Because what options does broken system, broken trust have? He's going to say, no, this isn't the way it is. But who's going to decide? It's the judge. So the judge's interpretation is what matters, not broken system, broken trusts. So what broken system, broken trust should do is he should learn the way that the judges are going to interpret it. That's what he should do. He's not going to, but that's what he should do. Instead, he's going to say, no, it's my way. And the judges are going to be like, okay, guilty. Smack the gavel. Tomatoes, you're my favorite. You have me wrapped around your little finger because I'm just dying to know if it's tomato or tomato. Like, I have the source at my fingertips of the centuries-old tomato question, and you remain silent. You are an enigma wrapped up in a mystery. Buying subs seems to be a popular thing. Chile, Welsh News Network are two I could think of quickly. Yes, they are. Ryan was watching sports ball instead of watching BSBT explain jurisdiction. Must be the alcohol. Well, I guess it gives you water brain or wet head or something like that. I don't fucking remember. Matto says, I bet it is. And he's right. Matto's right. It absolutely is the way that he is explaining it. Michelle thinks it's tomato. Well, Michelle, you're just guessing because it's really up to this person right here. It's really up to this person right here. And this person right here, tomato, has been silent. Multiple streams and has been silent. Biggest troll I've ever faced. And it eats me up. I lose sleep at night knowing that the answer is so close. I mean, it's literally at my fingertips and yet so far away. I'm going to go to my grave not knowing because tomato/tomato won't answer me. It's fucking crazy.
Old videos. We'll put this up real fast. I was thumbing through some videos today.
Broken Sister, Broken Trust to watch my channel. He does. Sucks, doesn't it?
And little did I know, I noticed, well, I kind of recognized some of the thumbnails right there. And let's just talk real fast about this. Answering Broken System, Broken Trust, nonsensical question. And it's about 17 minutes. Now, who is this? This is Merb or Merb 34th Street or Merb Beast. I'm not sure which one. Merb, feel free to correct me if you watch this.
So just like tomato, I'm going to keep my secret. It could be Merb 34th Street. It could be Merb Beast. I don't know. You don't know. No one knows.
Merb. But you saw Merb's thumbnails in my thumbnail for this live stream. And so I asked Merb a couple of questions just based off the thumbnails and the fact that he spent 17 minutes there with a nonsensical question. And this is kind of what I threw up in some of the videos, a couple of the comments, right?
I just
wanted to let Merb know that I will be using some clips from this on a live stream. And he is more than welcome to come up and defend the claims he's about to make. He's on record making the claims. There's video evidence.
More than welcome to come up. Like what? I was supposed to sub to BSBT's channel and click the little what is that notification bell? Is it like a notification bell or something? There used to be a bell. I don't know. But how the fuck am I supposed to know this dude's streaming? Team Skeptic is here. Lick the whole boot says, would you consider doing a live stream on perjury in the near future? Why would I do a live stream on it? Perjury is very rarely prosecuted. I don't know why I would. Mr. Diddy the Destroyer says, Merb, do you think our government has respected the Constitution lately? No, I haven't. No, I don't. I don't believe it has.
Since I have it. So just relax and strap on your seatbelts for a second, because we're going to get into some interesting stuff. This is, well, very interesting to me, because as you can see, I play this out in real life and in real courtrooms. This was...
believe this or not, I also played the jurisdiction question out in real life and in real courtrooms. The difference between me and Broken System, Broken Trust is I actually understand it.
From yesterday. I'm not going to play the whole clip again, but this was from yesterday.
Do you want the 30 days or do you want to go to trial today?
Well, let's see what the discovery evidence has to say. But first, if they could, very first thing out of there, they could send the factual evidence of jurisdiction. That would be great. It should be a one-page document. If the prosecutor filed it, fantastic.
Mr. Leto, you're talking crazy.
He was talking very crazy.
well, I certainly, any government entity willing to use transparency to put the truth on the table, 100% I'm in favor for, because
I don't have anything to hide. I didn't do anything wrong. I don't have
you
any.
did explain factual evidence of jurisdiction. You did explain it for about the better part of a half hour. The last time I was.
Well, see, so what he's doing here is he's saying you did explain factual evidence of jurisdiction. Now, that is a nonsensical statement that the judge is going to interpret as, yes, I did explain jurisdiction. That's what the judge is going to hear, because the judge isn't going to like spend hours parsing this to try to explain to broken system, broken trust what jurisdiction is, when apparently he's already explained. He already spent a good deal of time explaining jurisdiction in broken system, broken trust presence already at this particular hearing. And we know this because broken system, broken trust is saying, you just explained it. And the judge would be like, yes, what I just explained was about jurisdiction. So this is the whole like rephrasing it, asking a question, rephrasing it to try to like, you just explained factual evidence of jurisdiction. He's putting words in the judge's mouth, and the judge doesn't know or care because the judge isn't out there trying to score internet points. Ryan M says, your daily Merb stream reminder that all politicians are awful. But if by awful you mean should be strung up, yes, until they're dead. Yes, absolutely. Michelle says, Juan Galt tried to explain BSBT that just because a DA dismisses a case doesn't mean his claim of jurisdiction is correct. That is correct. DAs can dismiss cases for all sorts of reasons. The number one reason is because the DA doesn't feel like it's worthwhile to prosecute it. Lick the whole boot. This guy has a bit of a fetish. Says exactly, I want to learn why that is. Even where there is evidence, like why is it put in place if it's rarely applied? Does it have to be a certain amount? We're talking about perjury. If we're talking about perjury, everybody lies all the time. It's usually only if it's especially egregious, or if the judge wants to make a point. It's a whole new criminal proceeding, and the DA is going to have to want to prosecute. Otherwise, the court is going to have to probably do something on contempt. But there would have to be something authorizing the court to proceed on a contempt basis. So what the court would have to do is the court would have to refer it out to a DA to prosecute. It's just a lot of fucking work. Michelle says also the judge doesn't have to answer his questions. That is correct. Ryan says, hey, he wants it to be explained, proven, but at his level, and that's impossible. It has to be proved, but BSBT doesn't have to agree to the proof, idiot. It's not that. It has to be alleged. The charging instrument has to allege jurisdiction. It has to allege all the necessary things for jurisdiction. That's what it has to do. Then if he files a motion challenging jurisdiction, he's going to have to put forward evidence saying why there is no jurisdiction. And then the prosecution is going to have to respond with why there is evidence of jurisdiction. If that makes sense. But the important thing is that in the charging document, there is an allegation, a factual allegation. So allege facts that, if true, means the court has jurisdiction. Mr. Diddy, the donut hole destroyer, says, we don't got to listen to those fools. More of us than them. More of us than them. Well, I think you're probably wrong, because there are more of them than us. More people think the government is legitimate than don't. So there you go. BSBT chooses not to understand about jurisdiction to string things out. I don't know. It's really easy to say what is, but it's hard to say why. It's hard to say why. It's easy to say what he's doing. Like, these are the facts. These are the things he's doing. People always want to attribute a why to it, a motivation, and that's a lot harder to do. I don't know why he does it. I don't know why. Jackson 68 says, when Lanto says he wants to ask, quote, a simple question, logical question, end quote, it is anything but. It's anything but simple, and it's anything but logical. Yes, I understand. Steve Miller talks says maybe the case is dismissed because they're going to tack on another charge too. Hold on a second. I had a client who had 9 pending charges, and they were going to add on 2 more, and I don't remember exactly how they were going to do it. I don't know if they just amend the complaint or what in criminal, but I don't think they have to dismiss the case to do that. Honestly, you're welcome. Lick the whole boot. Javer says goody review Inception. Nice. Michelle says never tell. Lick the whole boot, but never lie to the FBI. It's always better to remain silent. Invoke the 5th rather than talk. Period. Just invoke the 5th. I'm sorry about your notification, Orange Cones. Andrew says, by Josh, showing up to court proves the court has jurisdiction. I don't think he had to show up. The charging document contained allegations that, if true, prove jurisdiction. That's just what they do. 99.9 times out of 100, the charging document will contain allegations that, if true, give the court jurisdiction. And that's all the court needs. Because you got to remember that the case has to start. If you have to prove jurisdiction before the case starts, well, there's no judge. The case has to start. In order for the case to start, there has to be an allegation of jurisdiction, a factual allegation that, if true, establishes jurisdiction. So that's what every court, at least in the U.S., finds to be sufficient to start the case. And then if you think jurisdiction is insufficient, then you file your motion. Or in civil, you make your special appearance. You make a special appearance challenging jurisdiction. You file your motion challenging jurisdiction. The Wedding Singer. I saw that movie. I don't really remember it. Like the whole boot says, if you're getting interrogated by the FBI, you got some problems coming your way. If you're getting questioned by the FBI, you may or may not have problems coming your way. But if you answer the questions, if you talk to them, well, you increase your odds of having problems coming your way. Paul Carroll says, where I work, we will usually amend instead of refile. Unless there's been a lot of issues with service, then we might refile to start over again with a clean start. Now, Paul, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you're with whatever your state's version of DCSS is, right? Department of Child Social whatever it is where you are enforcing child support. And if so, then that's more civil than criminal, unless I'm wrong. And I could be wrong. Jetha says, in my opinion, a competency hearing should be required of BSPT before this case proceeds further. Why? It's not up to the court to sua sponte order a competency hearing. All that the level of competency is very low. Do you understand the nature of the charges is really about it. And as retarded as broken system, broken trust understanding of the legal system and of the law is concerned, it doesn't mean he doesn't understand the charges against him. Orange Cones hopes that Javers liked the movie. Mr. Diddy, the donut hole destroyer, says, well, as a lawyer, you probably are around more people who have faith. In my everyday life, the vast majority lacks faith. Well, I'm not trying to do this from personal, like my acquaintances. My acquaintances, excuse me, let me step that one back. The people that I like and hang around with, my in real life friends, pretty much agree with me that the system is fucked, and really there needs to be a lot of the expenditure of a lot of rounds of ammunition to correct the situation. That's what my personal circle of friends believes. But the mistake is thinking that's what most people believe. Most people are content with the bread and circuses, sir. That's why we don't like. I mean, no one is rising up over any of the things. Like we find out all sorts of corruption every day from politicians, and no one is doing anything. So no. I mean, some people will talk about it, but no, most people are just happy, scrappy hero pup with the current state of the system. Alan Killian says, what do you think of Judge Angerson's Marx Brothers reference within his ruling on Trump's New York civil case? Don't know, don't care. Fuck Trump and fuck the people who are prosecuting him. How about that? Skip377 says, criminal jurisdiction seems like one of the most straightforward topics in law. The soft physical proof thing makes no sense. I don't know what you mean by criminal jurisdiction, but okay. Ohio Steve says, I smell a whole lot of boot breath in this room. Well, you should probably brush your teeth then, sir. Javer says, I'm not a fan of the courts deciding on our ability or willingness to protect ourselves from ourselves. If you think you're going to represent yourself better than a public defender, have at it. Well, the problem is you won't. The problem is you won't. I mean, there are cases that are just so fucking straightforward that you're going to win if you just sit there. There are those cases, but those cases are rare. And it's in your best interest to have someone else represent you. Like having someone, like if I got arrested, I would hire an attorney to represent me. I would, because I would be less capable of doing it. When you look at things from from your own bias perspective. You have bias. You see things through your own eyes, and that's the only way you can see things. There's that whole adage. There's three truths. There's your truth. There's the other person's truth, and then there's like a neutral third party's truth. And an attorney could bring that neutral third party kind of view into it, plus have the knowledge and experience to know what your options are, and be better able to give you an idea of how a judge would rule and or how a jury would determine the facts. Paul says we have DCFS for custody cases and Office of Child Support Service, OCSS, for support cases. And yes, it is civil. Yeah, so, I mean, I get it, but we're talking kind of criminally things here. Mr. D says, oh, well, then when Ish pops off, I got your back, Merb. Well, good to hear. Truth Seeker says, anyone here from Coded, or is he still grounded? I think his mom took his internet privileges away, his streaming privileges anyway. Orange Cone says, how much G-string money does it take to get an interview? Row be your girl or be your friend. Row be your friend IRL. I don't know what the hell that means. How much G-string money does it take to get an interview? To be your friend IRL? It doesn't take much. Political nihilism. Not really. All of our politicians are just pure shite. I don't know of any who aren't. Jaber says, oh, I'm fully aware that they won't. That's why I hire lawyers. Absolutely hire lawyers. That I won't. Okay. Lawyers, I can't type tonight. Well, you're doing pretty good. Do you think public defenders are some of the best trial lawyers? I've never hired a public defender. I've never gone against a public defender because I've never been a prosecutor. I would suggest to you that a public defender is going to have a lot of experience, and they have access, generally speaking, to motion banks. They have access, generally speaking, to other public defenders to bounce ideas off of. So I'm gonna just suggest that you're not completely left swinging in the breeze with the public defender. Now they're overworked and underpaid, but I don't know what to tell you on that. Missed one. Team Skeptic says, how many more years will it take for you to become a second-year family law attorney? Yes. Scissors says he was never going to accept a jurisdiction answer. Was he hoping they would admit a mistake and drop his case? I don't know. I don't know. I can't read his mind. Michelle says, haha, the mom in the background wanting to vacuum had me in tears laughing. Shut up, shut up. that was fucking comedy gold. And Coded still hasn't actually accepted it, but it's fucking hilarious as fuck. Javer says, I've actually wondered that myself. Andrew Rover says, I find the American justice system quite puzzling. Happy to not be a part of it. Hello from New Zealand. Well, hello to you, Andrew Rovers. Coded Fred says, I got grounded for the shut up comment. Good sense of humor, sir. I have to applaud you on that one. Kira Ora says, Andrew Rovers. Kira Ora. I don't know what that means, but all right. Public defenders are overwhelmed with case volume. Unless you're a public defender, I would ask how you know. But yes, I would guess that's right. Oh, only peanut butter and honey sandwiches? Well, those are pretty darn good. You got your answer? Yes, absolutely. Team Skeptic, where's that picture you were supposed to send me months ago? Dick pic incoming. Two says, watching Merb vids after Dave, watching frauders and frauder trolls is like enjoying my after dinner liquor. That makes you an alcoholic. Juan Galt says, I can't find the video link you put in my comment section. You know, Juan, if you want to come up, I would actually let you come up to go through this video, at least for an hour or so, if you're interested. And if you're not, that's fine too. Just let me know. Joe's been a 20-year law scholar for at least 4 years. Has he? Has he been around that long? I thought in all of the pleadings, he says he started being a law scholar in 2020. Michelle says it's nice when someone can laugh at themselves. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's disarming. So that was an excellent play by Coded. And it might be he's shaking off some of his midwittery. Scissors asks if I burned the chicken last night. No, it came off perfect. Nice and moist. Get rid of civil asset forfeiture. Love your name. Says public defender's track record is actually nearly equal to private attorneys per all the studies I've read. Okay. Team Skeptic says Merb reads every comment. He will read this one as well. You are a genius, sir and or madam. JG Thomas says, did you see where Canada's Speaker of the House honored a Nazi vet in Parliament last week? He got 2 standing ovations. Yes, I find that to be hilarious. Not that I have any problem with National Socialism. I mean, you know, people are gonna be like, oh my God, but think about this. For whatever atrocity they did, you know, experiments on people, yada yada, like the US government did exactly the same things and worse. We had this whole syphilis experiment where we literally got black men. We treated black men with syphilis, and we didn't treat them. We just watched them die. Like, we did all sorts of horrible shit, but only the Nazis are the bad guys, right? I mean, so again, but just understand where I'm coming from. I'm not saying that Nazis are good. I'm just saying that, like, the US government is just as fucking bad, and the Canadian government is just as fucking bad, and every other government is just as fucking bad. So yeah. Coded says see, you're losing it, sir. You're losing it. You're trying too hard. You gotta slow down. Like you can't just pretend that you've been laughing at it all, because you got fucked up, son. Like, you got fucked up. Ain't nobody on your bandwagon at this point. I mean, you got your fans still, but you got to remember, you got your fans. Fraud at Wrangler still has fans, bro. Fraud at Wrangler still has fans. And if a guy who murdered a vet for drugs, who has a history of burglary and using drugs, if he still has way more subs than you and gets way more people watching his streams than you do, you should think about that. You should just fucking think about it. You should mull it over a bit. Instead of just giving it a surface/emotional level, try to come up with some quick fucking response. I don't know. Drink it in a little bit. Ponder on it. Meditate on it. Pray on it, Mr. Christian guy. On a scale of 1 to 10, Coded, how upset do you get when mommy forgets to cut the crust off? Juan Galt still can't find the video you linked in his comments. Coded Friend says, I'll play the midwit forever, except you're not playing. True Seeker says, Chill's only been on YouTube 2 years. All right. Javer says, I personally think there should be a requirement that the public defender's office be better funded than the prosecutors. I think that a defendant should get attorney's fees if the prosecution loses. For every claim that the prosecution loses on, or that they dismiss but still take a case to trial, because prosecutors overcharge all the time. They'll charge everything. They'll throw the fucking book at it to see what sticks, to try to get you to plead down. I'll get rid of these 3 charges if you just plead to this one. So I think that if you take it to trial, and if the prosecution loses on 3 out of 5 charges, then the prosecution, the state should have to, or the county, whatever, should have to pay 3/5 of your attorney fees. That's what I think. Orange Cones asks, did you see your DM of the photo I suspect to be you? Yes, the merman. Yes, I did. Yes. Scissor says, keep posting so Merb can stay on all night. No, I have work in the morning, and my beer is only going to last so long. And I've already had 1 beer, so this is number 2. And, you know, I just can't sit out here drinking all night, or else I'll be accused of being a... And we have this lovely fiction of BSBT's jurisdiction to go through, by the way. Andrew River says, Juan Galt, I looked and can't find it either. Drunk Rob TDB says, Coded, buy your mother a Roomba for the love of God. She must be 90. Well, Coded's rich. Buy her a maid. Javer says, you should make your career defending people, not prosecuting them on behalf of the state. I'm not a prosecutor, so I think I don't like criminal defense work much. I do a little bit of it. I've done a little bit of it, but I'm not a huge fan. Too many criminals, and too many like absolute losers. Like I get crushed pretty easy. Like it drains me to defend loser case after loser case after loser case, and then you get people like Chili who are like, no, I want you to defend me, and I won't accept this deal. And you're like, bro, but it's a good deal because you're gonna lose on this charge, and this charge, but you can just plead at this one charge. No, and you're like, okay, all right, well. Frank Leslie says we got to the moon on the expertise of the Third Reich. Thanks, Werner. Yes, if true. The U.S. government has lied to us so much that I don't even know if we made it to the moon. I really don't. Like, I'm completely skeptical on so much shit now. Clifton Beck says the Canadians are not worse than the U.S. because they say sorry all the time. I went to Canada once, and they had loonies and toonies, and that was kind of interesting. But the weirdest thing is, my wife and I took public transport while we were there, and you get on. Whenever anybody would get on the bus, they'd say hello to the bus driver, and when they got off the bus, they'd be like, "Thank you." When they got off, it's crazy weird. Team Skeptic says, "I guess I missed a few things while in Europe. Murder for drugs. What the fuck did I miss?" Yeah. So, Frauditor Wrangler is stolen valor. He murdered. I'm going to say murder. I'm not even going to say allegedly. He murdered a disabled veteran Marine for drugs, and he has previously been convicted of allegedly 2 burglaries, one of which was his elderly neighbor. He broke in and stole her drugs, and he's got like 5 open felonies, I think, somewhere around in there. But yeah, he's a complete piece of shit, and the community finally caught on to him. And thank you to Stone Vet. Javer says, "Ooh, I like that idea." Michelle says, "What an interesting idea. That's really a good idea, Merv. Let the state put money on the line." Yeah. I mean, it would slow down the overcharging. J.G. Thomas says, I only mention it because the word Nazi is thrown around so freely in recent years by certain groups. Use if you don't agree with them. Yeah, everybody's a Nazi, and it's completely lost all of its sting. Who was it? I made a video analyzing the what's that kid, the Kenosha guy. Anyway, he shot 3 white dudes, right? White guy shot 3 white guys. And I went through it. I'm like, yeah, it appears to me, for all intents and purposes, to be, I came to the conclusion the kid was going to be found innocent because it appeared he was in self-defense. All the things looked to me like self-defense. The transporting firearms across state lines none of that made sense. Anyway, someone's like sending me hella comments, and they contacted my employer, and they're like, oh, he's a racist. I'm like, what the fuck? He's a racist Nazi. I'm like, all right, because I said a white guy who shot other white guys was self-defense, but okay. Drunk Rob TBD says, Skeptic, I don't want to startle you, but Fraud Wrangler is a dangerous lying asshole. Jesus. Merb is 2 beers in. No. I'm a beer and a half, sir, and or madam. Jasper Kalin says, I want a civil Gideon movement, especially to help people who are targets of frivolous civil suits. So Gideon versus Wainwright, I think it is, was the U.S. Supreme Court case that said basically if someone is indigent, they need to be provided counsel in a criminal action. So what Jasper wants in civil suits, people who are indigent, who can't afford an attorney, to be appointed an attorney. Okay. Emma Willard says, no rock. Trying cases and teaching IP law. More time now. Okay. Yeah, I guess I did, says Team Skeptic. I have some catching up to do. I knew him and Stone Vet were beefing. No, see, people like to say beefing, and it's not beefing. Like, pointing out that someone is a lying piece of shit or a stolen valor piece of shit isn't beefing. Like stating facts, this person is a lying burglar, probable murderer, drug addict, stolen valor. That's not beef. That's not beef. That is a statement of a series of facts. It's not beef. GMK, the eternal midwit, says, I don't think the government paying if it loses will change squat, and neither will changing qualified immunity. I think it will. Specifically, it will change it for the people who are being charged, because there is a lot of expense associated with being charged with a crime. And part of that expense, a large part of that expense, are attorney's fees. A lot of people will hire a private attorney. The difference between a private attorney and a public defender, the public defender does it all the time. They've got the connections. They know the judges by name, but they recognize each other. They probably have lunch together at cafeterias or various restaurants around the courthouse. They have a lot of things going for them. But what a private attorney has is time, which costs you money. But the private attorney will be able to spend more time on your case, more individualized attention. And that costs money. That costs a lot of money. And so if you rack up, $16,000, $32,000, $48,000, and you get back 2/3 of that money, that is like, you're not going to think that's changing squat. You're going to think that's fucking amazing, because that's a lot of, attorney fees are no joke. I am distinctly aware of how expensive my profession is. And, because I have my own private clients as well as clients I do work on for other attorneys with, and I have to bill my clients, and I like my clients, and I don't want to screw them. I don't want to waste their money or anything like that. So yeah, it's a big thing. The government paying if it loses will change things for those defendants dramatically, and those defendants are the ones most affected. Sorry, I didn't mean literally you, just the idea that prosecutors are making their career through railroading people. Okay. But again, you have to counterbalance this with most of the people who get charged did commit at least one crime. Like, I hate to say this, I haven't defended an innocent person yet. You know, so I don't know. I don't know what to say. I also haven't defended someone who wasn't overcharged yet. No, I defended one guy who was not overcharged. He had he could have been charged with, I think it was like 5 counts of misdemeanor child abuse and 1 count of felony child endangerment, whatever. And the prosecution, she was pretty cool. She only charged him with one misdemeanor count. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank here. I think she charged with one. I know we ended up pleading to 1 misdemeanor, but I think she charged him with 1 misdemeanor. So yeah. Oh, it's a whole ass rabbit hole, team. Nice. Go to friend says, no, I get pissed if the crust is off. Oh, you know, I'm not a fan of cutting the crust off myself. I like the crust on my bread. Chili's original YouTube channel was started in 2015. Tats has good coverage of FW. If you're into that kind of thing. Spartan says Rittenhouse. Yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse. Yeah. Gene says, I caught the tail end of the statement. FW is toast. No, he's just a piece of shit. He still has plenty of people watching. He had like 140 people watching his live stream today. Goosebumps says, Stone Vet has all sorts of details on FW, but it'd take days to watch all the streams. Watch Master Sergeant. I forget the guy's name. Everybody calls him Master Sergeant. I don't know what his channel is. But yeah, it would take a long time to watch all of Josh's streams, but it's an enjoyable long time, and he has the cutest giggle. Don't tell him I said that. JJ Thomas says, whatever happened to the murder charges on Brokeback Wrangler? So they were dropped, but they weren't dropped with prejudice. They were dropped, I'm assuming, because of a proof issue. They don't have some bit of proof that they actually needed. McAddick says, commie Nazis are the worst. That's like saying liberal conservatives are the worst. But okay. Dr. Vegetable says Rittenhouse actually showed a great deal of restraint. Ryan M says he shot a pedo too. I don't think pedo's a race. I don't think I'd be a racist for advocating a guy defended himself against a pedo. And I don't think that would make me a Nazi either, but I'm not entirely sure. Richard asks, have you weighed in, Merb, on DMA charges today for his federal charges? 15 days of jail, $3,000 fine, probation, and, quote, he has to get a job, end quote. I have not. I'm not familiar with it. I don't follow him. I don't believe I've ever watched any of his videos. Javer says, oh, it'll change things when a prosecutor burns a ton of taxpayers' money throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks. Well, they'll just print more money, won't they? Johnny Switchblade says, Goosebump SV's coverage of Wrangler starts at MM100 episode. Yeah. Goosebump says, at Team Skeptic, Fraud or Troll also hosted a stream where all kinds of people came up to ask FW some very tough questions. Beyond the stolen valor stuff, more about FW's scripting tactics. Yeah, that's what we like to call a struggle session. They rehabilitated him. People are stupid and they don't know what they're doing. And that was a stupid thing hosted by a stupid person where a bunch of stupid people came up and asked stupid questions. And at the end of the day, it let people vent. And now, you can even hear it in the video. I watched, I don't know, like 10 or 15 minutes of the video, maybe 20. And all the people are like, oh, I understand that, people get second chances and this and that. And it's like, are you fucking insane? It was trash. And the people who were in it are trash. And it was hosted by someone with the name Frauditor. And anybody with the name Frauditor in their YouTube channel is trash. Frauditor fuckers is, I think, what I called them. Skip says they would pay out taxpayer money. The prosecutor's office wouldn't care. Wouldn't they? Wouldn't they? It wouldn't be the prosecutor's office paying the money. He would be the county or the state or the city. Whoever was prosecuting it would have to pay. And I haven't seen a lot of state budgets, but I have had some interactions with city attorneys, and they seem to be pretty concerned about city budgets. So I'm going to guess county attorneys also have concerns about county budgets, and I'm going to guess state attorneys have concerns about state budgets. Goosebump says Shiz dug into that and couldn't find much. Well, Shiz is a journalist. Skeptic says, I saw the part with Wrangler and Blackheart. Him holding his money back from BHK was a bit messed up, but I only heard a few minutes, so I don't know if he had a valid excuse for it. Yeah, his excuse was, quote, he forgot for 5 or 6 months. And yeah. Javer says, I thought you were family law. I only hire guys like you to make sure I don't get screwed or to make sure my estate is in order. Well, I do wills, trusts, probate. I do contract law. I do criminal law. I do a lot of different kinds of law. But if you ask me, I am a first-year family law attorney because that is what I'm supposed to be or something. I don't know. I don't think one Galt's coming up. Anyway, we're watching this. We're pausing.
I was told I was crazy.
You didn't understand.
Right, but I was told I was fucking crazy for asking for it.
No, not at all.
Well, let's see what the discovery evidence has to say. So going back to a common theme in my life and how it applies to your experience as well, is that public servants lie or public servants misinterpret things. You just saw a classic example of how a public servant is trying to tell me I'm crazy for asking for something like factual evidence of jurisdiction.
You are crazy for asking for factual evidence of jurisdiction. You're not crazy for asking for the discovery evidence, and you're not necessarily crazy for contesting jurisdiction, depending on the facts that are shown. But you are crazy for asking for evidence of factual jurisdiction, especially before you decide to go to trial, because it's only after you decide to go to trial, after you plead not guilty and decide to go to trial, that's when the prosecution has a duty to turn over evidence. So yeah, you're crazy. You have no fucking idea what you're doing.
So when I asked Merb the same question in a live chat, this is coming back to the comment that I made to Merb right here. First question, should you choose to answer it, Merb, is why would you spend 16 minutes? And it's closer to 17 minutes, actually, Merb. I gave you, I should have just said close to 17 minutes because that's what it took for you to try to explain my nonsensical question. Even though in that same video, and we'll watch the clips, you went on to explain the complexity and the nuance of the question. I'll go on to read this and then.
Well, doesn't that answer the question why it took so long? It's because I went on to explain the complexity and nuance of it. And you don't think that because, well, let's just say that I get it. You don't think that, and that's fine. But here's what you're going to hear. You're going to hear he admitted to it. He's sorry. He admitted to it. He said he was sorry. You're an asshole if you don't forgive him and move on. So yes, he was. But you could disagree. That's fine. That's your opinion, man.
And then we'll take it down. Then you made a claim about signing a traffic ticket and how that applies to personal jurisdiction, which isn't that crazy of a claim because I have heard judges in other videos making the same false claim. We can easily disprove that claim, but we will save it for the live stream, which you're listening to right now. But Merv is more than welcome to come up here and defend his claims.
And again, you didn't send me a link. You didn't do anything to let me know you were going live. So how could I go up there? You didn't even tag me in it, douche canoe.
A couple of claims to defend. One of them, and he's an attorney. Okay, Merv.
Yes, I am an actual attorney. I have a bar card. And that means that my professors thought that I learned enough about jurisdiction to graduate from law school. And that means the California State Bar thought I knew enough about jurisdiction to be warranted a bar card. And I've been practicing law as a first-year family law attorney for a whole year now. I'm almost a second year family law attorney. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I know what the fuck jurisdiction is.
I've been told Merb is an attorney. I have no reason to not believe that.
Yes. I'm not gonna identify where. I don't think they are recorded, but I know some of the, like Sacramento, their probate stuff is always online. Although none of that's, I haven't done a trial in probate. I guess technically there could be a trial there, but I don't know if the trials are published, but their motion hearings are, or not their motion hearings, their petition hearings are. There's a lot of courts in California that put certain things online.
But Merb, if you want to come up here, I'll put a link in the chat. Take down exposing frauditors. What is up? JOCO.
He's going to put a fucking link in the chat when I'm not even there. That's fucking crazy. He's mad because you gave a proper answer, not the half-ass one he was looking for. Well, probably. I did spend 17 minutes on it. So, yeah, Juan, you should have gone up, but you don't like me. I fucking told you, Juan. You want a link? Invite. Copy. Paste. No one wants to put on pants, Javers. Pants are the devil. BSBT only one. I dropped the link. There's the link. There's the link. Now, I don't know if I'm smart enough to do anything with that, but I dropped the link. I've never had anybody on here. I'll figure it out. I'm a boomer.
Kansas Cop Watch. Appreciate you being in here. But anyways, let's go back to the conversation at hand because we're.
Am I a California burrito guy? Usually carnitas, supreme. Hello, Juan. How are you?
I'm fine, Merv.
You're familiar with Broken System, Broken Trust, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Well, he called you out here too. I don't know if you noticed that.
I've been on a couple of his live streams.
Does he tag you, or do you have to figure out that he's live?
He usually tags me, and I say in his community page, and I get notifications because I'm subscribed.
Oh, well, that's maybe I should subscribe, but I don't necessarily know his content, so I don't know if I'd want to. Is it something that would interest me, Juan? Do you endorse his content?
If you really like a funny doofus that is either really stupid or feigns it very well, yeah, it's pretty funny stuff. I don't really look at much of his videos. The only time I interact is when he, wants to do a live stream on jurisdiction.
Well, were you on this live stream?
No, but I have been on a couple in the last month or so, and I've done videos on it where I replay the pertinent parts.
Okay. Well, I've never had a guest on here like this before, so I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and you can tell me how dumb I am. I'm going to play it, and if you want me to stop, I'm going to stop it, and if you don't, I'm going to stop it when I want to stop it. How about that?
Works for me.
We were talking about Merb, and we were talking about these videos right here, and I pulled some clips from the videos. Anyways, so these were the videos I saw. Here's my response to Merb, and then Merb even had the, motivation to reply and even heart comments. And up top,
I am a kind and generous God.
up there it says from Merb, all South State questions sound that nonsensical, and yes, and I don't remember the rest of the comment, Merb, so, but you'll have a chance to come up here and defend your claims. Let's get into some of the Merb claims, because they get pretty wild here. They get pretty wild. I'm just going to be honest, Merb, your claims start to get pretty wild. Here we go. Let's see what this one says.
What is jurisdiction? That's a sticky wicket. There are lots of kinds of jurisdiction. I'm not going to talk about in rem or quasi in rem jurisdiction, and there may be even others that I'm not going to address, but I'm going to address I'll say 3 kinds of jurisdiction. I'll break subject matter jurisdiction.
So Merb, first claim you got to defend there, Merb, is jurisdiction is a sticky wicket, as you said. It is a sticky wicket, meaning it is probably complicated. You know it's not complicated, Merb? Here, I'll give you one thing that's really, really not complicated at all, is just asking to see what factual evidence jurisdiction is, and then holding it in your hand. And I held in my hand yesterday, and we're going to go over this document that was handed in my hand yesterday, and we're going to discuss Merb's claims to the charging instrument that I got from yesterday. We'll cover that, because if Merb is correct...
I didn't see him get handed a document. It was probably the charging document, I'm guessing. Do you know what he got handed, one?
Yeah, it probably would have been the ticket. Yeah, the charging document.
Did he get a ticket, or did he get? I'm not entirely sure. Is this a misdemeanor or a ticket or what?
Yeah, I think there's some obstruction, interference, being in a roadway. I think there's 3 of them. I don't remember the specifics, but I think that covers it. And he, like he says to you, his big deal in court is, I want to see factual evidence of jurisdiction like they have in military courts, where when you go into the military, you have to sign a paper saying that you give them jurisdiction, and that's factual evidence of jurisdiction. And I want to see something like that. And that's his. And the judge always tells me that it's on the ticket. Jurisdiction is on the ticket, and I look on the ticket and I don't see the word jurisdiction anywhere. Now that's his thing in a nutshell.
Does he realize that the military has a statute that defines who the UCMJ has jurisdiction over, and that there's also a contractual agreement to be bound by that?
Well, he was in the military. He was in the military. He got booted out for some drugs, I think, but he was in the Marines. So he's aware. I don't really entertain that bullshit. I just say you're talking apples and oranges, because you're not in a military court, Josh. You're in a traffic court. You're in a criminal court.
Well, yeah, and to the best of my knowledge, you don't have to enter into a contract to be a citizen of the United States or a citizen of one of the several states. And the laws aren't specific to specific groups. They're laws of general jurisdiction that affect everyone who's present in the territorial jurisdiction of that state or the federal government, unless I'm wrong.
Well, and that's what I've explained to him, that is what's called, or what I call anyway, or what I was taught. That's the political jurisdiction. That's why you are, subject to all the laws within that jurisdiction, is because the political document, the Constitution, establishes all of this, and they enforce it at the barrel of a gun.
Yeah, they do enforce it at the barrel of a gun.
I have a few questions on the charging instrument that I was handed yesterday. See, this is the benefit.
It was a charging instrument. God damn, I'm good. I'm psychic.
You only have a limited time at an arraignment. But you know what? When you don't have limited time, it's here on a live stream, and I can discuss it till we're blue in the face, right? But this is going to get interesting. Merv actually is somewhat Merv the perv. What makes you say Merv the perv? What makes you say that?
Because I'm a perv, probably.
Let's play this first video clip, because that's actually like a perfect segue into this. Here we go.
And it always amazes me every time I go on some sacred cow, like when I did one.
We jumped the gun. We had a little premature evacuation right there. Merv,
I got you too hot and bothered.
We had a premature evacuation, but here's Merv the perv if you want to see this video clip. Here you go, Merv.
Anyway, at some point during my drive to court this morning, I realized that Mumbles, that Dan, the window licker, the Welsh window licker, was accusing me of being a liar. I'm like, wait, what? Apparently, Dan has come to the conclusion that I lied about being gay. And you know what? I don't know why Dan would assume that he could select my sexual preferences any more than he could select my preferred flavor of ice cream. Oh, no. I've never seen John eat chocolate ice cream, so chocolate ice cream is not John's favorite. It's that level of stupid. But as a gesture,
I don't recall talking about jurisdiction in this video, but okay.
Of goodwill, I am willing to prove it. I'm willing to prove to Dan that I'm gay. And I'm going to let Dan put his money where his mouth is, or his mouth where his mouth is. So Dan, here's my offer to you. To prove that I am in fact gay, why don't you go ahead and buy a first class ticket or government subsidized housing. Never mind on the first class. You didn't make that much money grifting off that computer raffle. But why don't you buy a coach ticket to Sacramento International Airport? I will meet you there. And I will allow you to suck my dick. And that will prove to you that I am in fact gay. Now, if you don't take me up on that offer, I'm going to infer that you accept that I am in fact gay and that you are wrong and dumb and stupid. And that you accept that you've internalized it and you know forever henceforth that you, Dan, the window-licking Welshman, are dumb, stupid, and wrong. Your choice. Fly out here and suck my dick, or stay in Wales. And just accept that you're the fucking window-licking Welshman. Thanks for
I'm very sad to disappoint everybody, by the way, including myself. He did not fly out here and give me a blowy. And that, you know, I don't know if I'm happy or sad over that, because I mean, maybe Dan gives great blowies. I don't know.
watching. Have a great day.
Now, the window-licking Welshman is actually pretty funny. Who he's referring to is Welsh News. And if you didn't know, Welsh News was the first person or the first channel I remember breaking the story about Fraud at Wrangler, who you saw maybe in the opening clips. Fraud at Wrangler. Fraud at Wrangler was live streaming my court date yesterday. And I'll just tell the story real quick, and then we can get back to Merv. But oh, and by the way, Merv the Perv, that was pretty I don't know, phenomenal timing, because we did not rehearse that. I did not rehearse getting that comment and having that clip prepared for you guys. I did not rehearse that, I promise you. But anyway, okay, so Welsh broke the story on Fraud at Wrangler. But if you notice in that clip, in that Merv clip, he said that Welsh didn't get enough money scamming for some sort of Aflac scam, or I forget exactly what kind of scam it was. But in that whole clip, if you go in there, you can rewind it if you want to play that clip. In there, Merv accused Welsh of running scams. Okay, why is that important? Because we were just talking on the last couple live streams how many scams we got going on here on YouTube. You know, for example, this is Fraud at Wrangler, the guy who was outed by Welsh News, who was just referenced in that Merv's clip. And here's what Fraud at Wrangler said. He said there's other folks running scams in his community, right? The guy he's talking about said this about Fraud at Wrangler. Fraud at Wrangler was talking about corrections. Corrections is in here, right? I mean, for crying out loud. So anyway, so back to Merv, because he called somebody out for being a fraud. He called Welsh out for being a fraud, and Welsh is who he was referencing in that video. That video is pretty funny, you know, if you got that sort of humor. But coming back to Merv's comments, because this was just...
I don't recall calling the Welsh window licker out for being a fraud. I don't watch his content. GMK asks if we could slow things down a bit. You know what? For you, since you are a midwit, I would be delighted to.
Just from today. I set everything up for this show up today. This is all fresh stuff right here. But I told Merv I'd be using some clips from his videos. So these are the videos that he made addressing me. I don't have them in any particular order, so we'll just play them and then we'll come back and talk about them. But this is in regards to jurisdiction right here.
And it's going to give the court personal jurisdiction over you. I mean, like, but even it's silly. Like, if you're at that initial hearing, you're there. You're in front of the court. The court has personal jurisdiction over you, unless, I mean, maybe your state has some weird like ability to specially appear to challenge personal jurisdiction on a traffic ticket. I don't think that's a thing, but I mean, some state could have that. I don't know all 50 states. I don't care. But I doubt.
Juan, are you aware of any state that allows you to specially appear on a traffic ticket to contest personal jurisdiction?
No.
All right, but it's theoretically possible, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bet.
Oh, I doubt it's a thing. And so again, you appear. The court has jurisdiction over you, personal jurisdiction. Like it's so.
I'm sorry, Gia. I've been accused of coming too fast many times, and you pointing it out just humiliates me. It doesn't actually change anything.
No, like it's hard. These things are hard because if you actually know what you're talking about, it's such a simple concept. And how you could go so far off base and be arguing that you haven't given someone personal jurisdiction. What the fuck does that even mean? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, but he straight up thinks that the prosecution has to prove jurisdiction over him before trial. Like, according to who or what? Anything? Bueller? Anything? Doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. Anyway, there's your daily dose of stupid. Thanks for playing along, Broken System, Broken Trust.
Well, you're welcome for playing along there, Merv, because this is actually what I enjoy doing. I actually love doing this. You know, going into courtrooms and asking them to put facts on the table and where is the factual evidence of jurisdiction. But they didn't tell me that it was complicated, complex there. They just said, here's the document. I'm holding it in my hand right now. You guys want to see the document that is supposed to be factual evidence of jurisdiction? If you want to see it, just let me know and we'll start going over this, because Merv also said in that clip, if you weren't paying attention.
Juan, do you think the court said that whatever document that Broken System, Broken Trust is about to show us, do you think the court said that was, quote, factual evidence of jurisdiction, end quote?
No, but they responded to his question about factual evidence of jurisdiction as it's on the ticket or the charging instrument, whatever you want to call it. And that's what he's talking about. I'm now holding that in my hand, and the word jurisdiction is not there. It's what he's going to say.
We have a prediction from Juan. I'm going to trust you on this, buddy, but I'm not putting money on it.
Well, no, not me either, because he ADHD with him.
Okay.
The fact that you go to court is the factual evidence of jurisdiction. right? So, and if you direct your attention to the screen right now, right down there, the second to bottom paragraph, Mert is going to make a claim that signing a traffic ticket is the factual evidence of jurisdiction. And I've actually...
No. I want to be very clear. Factual evidence of jurisdiction doesn't make any fucking sense. There are facts that, if true, mean the court has jurisdiction over you. Nothing on a piece of paper is going to be probably going to be factual evidence of jurisdiction. If you sign the ticket, that would be, because it could be used against you. But what the officer says on the ticket is probably sufficient to allege jurisdiction, and it would be it would allege facts, but it wouldn't itself be evidence.
Well,
Go ahead.
Let me, be the interpreter of Josh here. He's thrown in this factual evidence here recently. This is all based on the Mark Stevens of evidence of asking for evidence of jurisdiction. That's it, period. And in all of these videos where they've done that, many judges have said it's on the ticket. So that's where that comes from now. And I've explained to him that the ticket has sufficient information on it to establish a rebuttable presumption through prima facie evidence, and that will have to be supported at trial with firsthand testimony, let's say, from the cop. And I've explained that to him a bazillion times. So there you go.
So what you're saying is that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
And you can't even drink for him to show him how.
Well, I can't drink for him because I've already exhausted my second beer, and I don't want to be an alcoholic.
We heard a judge say a similar thing. So it's not far off base, Merb, but towards the bottom there, if you're looking at your screen still, we can easily disprove that claim, but I will save it for a live stream. You're more than welcome to join the live stream. I was talking to Merb. Okay. We can easily disprove that showing up is the factual evidence of jurisdiction. Okay. Because so if you don't show up, they don't have jurisdiction.
No, if you don't show up, they already have the charging document, which has alleged facts sufficient to give the court jurisdiction. Until you challenge it and prevail, the court has jurisdiction based on the facts alleged in the charging document. So, no, but if you show up, you've given the court personal jurisdiction. You can't give the court subject matter jurisdiction by showing up, or territorial jurisdiction by showing up. But see, he's not listening to the nuance that I was and the complexity that I was trying to explain. There's several kinds of jurisdiction, and one of those is personal jurisdiction over him, the ability to render a judgment over him in particular. And the ability to render judgment over him in particular is established by him being served, i.e. handed, the charging instrument, the ticket, or the citation, or the complaint, whatever it is. That's how the court gets personal jurisdiction over him. It could also, in theory, get personal jurisdiction over him by him signing the ticket saying, I agree to appear. Because that would be a contractual basis for the personal jurisdiction, or like a notice and acknowledgement of receipt kind of basis for it. But it's another basis to show the court has personal jurisdiction. That doesn't establish subject matter jurisdiction, and it doesn't establish territorial jurisdiction, but it does establish one form of jurisdiction.
The next logical question is, so if you don't show up, then the court has no jurisdiction. We all know that to be false. They're not going to say that. The court's not.
I may be crazy, but Broken System, Broken Trust just admitted the court has fucking jurisdiction over him, even if he doesn't show up.
Not going to say that. They're not going to accept that. So we can quickly dismiss that as being false. And we can all be back at the position of, we don't know. right? But we can quickly rule that one out by using Socratic method and by asking the right questions, right? So Merv, so if I didn't go to court, would they not have jurisdiction over me? If the answer to that is, well, no, that's not the way it works, then I just disproved one of your claims right there. Now,
again, you have to specify which jurisdiction.
Merv is supposed to be an attorney. Merv, you're supposed to be an attorney. So Merv, if you're an attorney and you don't know this and you don't know how it works in all 50 states in the United States should work the exact same way. The charging instrument.
Why should they work Juan, to the best of your knowledge, do all 50 states have exactly the same rules on personal jurisdiction, subject matter jurisdiction, and territorial jurisdiction?
Well, as far as I know, they would all be the same.
But are they all the same? Is every statute that gives personal jurisdiction or lists it? Let me break this down a little bit further for you. Would a municipal court in Texas have subject matter jurisdiction over a murder?
No. I mean, it depends on the way the law is written, but generally no.
So every state is going to have different laws defining what jurisdiction courts have and how they get it.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we're on the same page that all 50 states will be they'll at least have minor tweaks of differences or more.
You've got politicians involved, sure.
Okay. And every state has its own statutes and its own constitution, and no two are identical.
Right. Same procedures, the way they do things, all different.
Stare decisis is going to be different state to state, et cetera. Yeah. Okay.
Should be prima facie evidence, and everything else Juan Galt says, do it. I can rattle off the rest if you guys want. The prima facie, the charging document is prima facie evidence requiring a rebuttal of evidence from the defendant. So now the defendant has to prove themselves not guilty or show factual evidence that they're not under the court's jurisdiction. So, Mr. Galt, you see how we get different answers from different legal professionals? That's what we're going for. Let me check the chat. You guys want to see the charging document so we can go over this?
I don't know that he really gets different answers. I think he asks a vague, nonsensical question, and the different legal professionals interpret it differently, and they answer different parts of it more or less completely, some more, some less, and based on that, and based on his misunderstanding of most of it, we end up with him thinking that everybody's giving him different answers to the same question.
And I addressed that with him, Herb, and I explained to him that the way he asked the questions, he's going to get general answers because people don't understand the foundation of his question and where he's really coming from. And that's why he gets different answers from me than, say, you just being thrown out that question, not knowing who the hell he is, what his ideology is, what the way he thinks about it. And that's why I've tried to explain to him, that's why there's a difference. But I said, in general, they all say the same thing.
Yeah, because if you ask a nonsensical question like what is your factual evidence of jurisdiction, it's you kind of
if you don't know where he's coming from, it doesn't make any sense to you. I just happen to know that he's basing it off his idea of the military courts.
Well, and there's your answer, folks.
What's up, Wolvie? Appreciate you being in here. Hi, Rochelle, my beautiful, beautiful YouTube wife right there. And then
he has a YouTube wife.
Wolvie's in here. Here, let's give Wolvie a quick shout out for coming in here and joining us. Here you go, Wolvie.
I can't do.
I don't know if that played or not, Wolvie. But if it did, cool. If it didn't, my phone kind of buffers. But it's just because I'm so maxed out on memory because I hold on to all these videos. But anyways, hello, Sebastian Lawyer, standing as a postmaster. Don't know what that means, but hey, welcome in. Is there still no sound? Hold on, let me get rid of this. If there was no sound on your weeboo clip, I apologize. Maybe we'll run it again. Okay, I can kind of see. I think we're good on audio. At least it's showing good on audio on my end. But anyways, the charging document. Let's just do the charging document, right? Here is, hold on, let me flip this camera around. Let's see if you guys can see it. Here is the charging instrument, right? Merb. Here is the charging instrument. You said because you signed the ticket, that's what gives the court jurisdiction. Merb, I didn't sign the document I just showed you.
I don't think I said that. I said that's one of the ways. One of the ways the court could get personal jurisdiction over you.
So now does the court lack jurisdiction because I didn't sign it? That's what I
No.
would assume with your comment. See, when you take the next
When you assume, you make an ass out of yourself.
logical step, all this stuff starts to make sense. You know, I think I got a better chance of, reuniting and everything, going back to normal with my family than I do finding the factual evidence jurisdiction. I'm assuming
I'm sorry to hear that he's having problems with his family.
going to find the factual evidence of jurisdiction at the same time as my family is reunited. That's what I'm guessing. Okay.
That's kind of depressing, and I feel bad for him.
We got a better chance of reuniting my family than we do finding the factual evidence of jurisdiction, Merb. But anyways, here, let's run a couple other Merb clips, and we'll just discuss, and then maybe we'll open this thing up to a panel. Who knows? We got more than 2 people in here, so more than just a couple of my relatives and spies are watching us right now. But here, Merb, this is also what you said.
Did he just say his relatives and spies?
Yeah, his sister. He calls her a spy because she has his kids, I think.
She came into she left a couple comments. She went back and then deleted the comments, but she wanted to tell me the real truth about broken system, broken trust. She wanted me to contact her to get the real scoop. I didn't want to get involved in that. But there's a whole bunch of sad there.
There we go. We'll just play your clip, Merb. Here, let's put this back up so you guys know where we're coming back to. Because Merb answered me when I asked him about factual evidence of jurisdiction. And it was in a live chat. I was in a live chat one day, and I just happened to throw it out there because Merb is an attorney. So let's check the attorneys and what they say as far as factual evidence of jurisdiction.
Anything? Bueller? Anything? Doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. Anyway, there's your daily dose of stupid. Thanks for playing along, broken system, broken trust. I doubt you're learning from any of this. You probably believe what you believe, and you're going to continue to believe what you're going to continue to believe. He alleges that he's won 2 cases on jurisdiction, and that's not outside the realm of possibility. I mean, if the police officer fails to fill out the traffic citation correctly, yeah, I mean, the court could look at that and be like, oh, hey, this isn't correctly filled out. It's so good, and they'll toss it. And broken system, I won on jurisdiction, and it's really the court like, oh, this isn't complete. It doesn't contain all the allegations it needs to contain for me, the court, to have jurisdiction over the case and or over the person. So he says he's won 2. He hasn't shown me any paperwork on it. I can't tell you if he's lying or not. It's not outside the realm of possibility. He says there's 2 he's still fighting. Well, I mean, I guess we'll see. But yeah. Again, I just don't think he's going to learn from this. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to entertain his main questions. But, if I feel like maybe someone will get some knowledge out of it, then I guess I'll keep pushing. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
I don't know what that was responsive to, but I'll bet you I was accurate when I said he's not going to learn from any of the answers I gave him.
I won 2. Well, I didn't win 2 cases on jurisdiction, Merb. You were close. You were pretty close. Okay, Merb? I have been 2-0 since I started my YouTube career. I should specify that because, that's a very clear distinction right there. And I don't know why I won them. I know that they were dismissed. One is in Novi. It got dismissed only first qui. Juan Gall's been up here. We talked about it. Then there was another case for disorderly conduct that was thrown out and dismissed. But the timing of it, perhaps the timing was coincidental. But as soon as I started throwing up objections to requiring factual evidence of jurisdiction be put on the table, they quickly dismissed the charges because they know, I think, in Pontiac.
Juan, are you familiar with these 2 cases he's talking about?
Yeah, one of them was noli prosequi. Don't know why they didn't want to do that. The other was dismissed, and I think the next day they filed 3 on him instead of that, just 1.
So is what he's currently going to court on with the judge he didn't like, judge number 1 and or judge number 2, are those 1 or all of the 3 he's been charged with?
Yeah, I think I wasn't here early enough to see what you played, but his most recent stuff that's been going around is his hearing before the judge on the 3.
Okay. All right.
So I should say I think they know.
All right. You sound like you're about to say something else.
No, go ahead.
All right.
In Pontiac, it's probably a more accurate way to say it. See, I got to be careful with my language too. But in Pontiac, they know better than to put factual evidence of jurisdiction on the record. I think they know better, so they dismiss the charges, so they don't have to do that, Merb. I don't have that.
I don't know if broken system, broken trust understands what it means by putting the facts on the record. You put the facts on the record at trial. So technically at a motion hearing, you would introduce some things as facts for the purpose of that motion hearing. But I don't think I don't think the state would be scared of doing that. There's no difference between them losing at that motion hearing and them dismissing the case. I mean, except for the fact they have to appear at a motion hearing.
Evidence, because we'll never know. But the coincidental timing of it, as soon as I started challenging jurisdiction in Pontiac, the very next court case was dismissed. The public defender that gave me minimal assistance throughout the ordeal, she told me on a phone call, which, by the way, she said the burden of proof is on the state to provide the factual evidence jurisdiction number one. So I had that recording of her. I also have the recording of her stating that.
Yes, Juan Galt was a former, is a former sovereign citizen.
Because of our conversation, the only thing we talked about on the phone conversation before was factual evidence of jurisdiction. So she said, based on our phone call, there's a good chance these charges may get dismissed. And I said, okay, cool. All right, cool. I don't care why they get dismissed, just as long as we get them dismissed. And then Merv, another fair clarification is,
I'm going to press X to doubt Broken System, Broken Trust's recounting of his conversation with the DA or the ADA. Based on his misunderstanding and misrepresentation of what I said in my videos and of what he alleges the court said, I'm just going to say that he probably misunderstood her.
it's not a belief that I have, right? I don't want to go by a belief. I want to go by facts. I want to see the factual evidence of jurisdiction, Merv. So it's not a belief that I have. So stop making those claims on my behalf, please. I was also...
the belief is that there is such a thing as factual evidence of jurisdiction.
Asked to define what a sovereign citizen was earlier today. Here's my definition of sovereign citizen, by the way, Merv. That's official. That's what I'm going to stick with as my definition, because Juan Galt came up here, and Juan Galt, he talked about how he defines a subset. His definition was something, and I'll loosely say this, I'm paraphrasing. Juan Galt said, it's basically somebody who's trying to duck responsibility for breaking the law. Breaking the law, Juan Galt. But this is how I define what a subset is. If Juan Galt's able to have his own definition, then I'll have my own definition. The way I feel is I define subset as somebody who takes an interest in law, especially common law, and gets mislabeled purposely to instantly discredit their legal knowledge opinions. The only folks I've seen...
Well, discredit their legal knowledge / opinions. The court is going to discredit your legal knowledge / opinions. The court's going to do that. I don't have to. I mean, the court, the judges don't see things the same way that you do. The judges are attorneys, and attorneys don't see things the way that you do. And the justices in the courts of appeals are attorneys, and they don't see things the way that you do. And the justices of the Supreme Courts of the states and the United States are attorneys, and they don't see things the way that you do. So you can either conform your beliefs to the beliefs of the people who make the decisions on what is and isn't a appropriate legal opinion and or the meaning of laws, or you can continue to slosh around in fuckwittery.
Use the term subset, the oxymoron term subset. The only folks that I've heard use this are attorneys.
By the way, I am aware of who and what Rights On is, and I have no issues with Rights On. And anybody who wants to can like chili or not like chili, and I don't really fucking care. I don't really care. Chili's wrong in a lot of his legal positions. He is being exposed because he's losing constantly. But if you want to support Chili, why can't you? Just because he's losing doesn't mean you can't support him. I mean, people back losing football teams all the time, or soccer teams, or baseball teams.
And then folks on YouTube who try to discredit you. I hear occasionally somebody mention a subset outside of YouTube, but it's very rare. Very rare. So again, Merv, I'm not going based on a belief, buddy. I'm asking the question. So you're saying I believe something when that couldn't be further from the truth. I'm trying to ask the question, where is the factual evidence of jurisdiction? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. That's a midwit kind of thing, is you just ask questions instead of making factual assertions. But you've also made factual assertions, and I've disagreed with those factual assertions, and judges have disagreed with those factual assertions. So, I mean, take your hint.
Anybody, or is it just me? Exactly. I've never claimed that I won it based on jurisdiction. I do know that I challenged jurisdiction. Then I had a phone call with the public defender who said, based on our conversation, which was about jurisdiction, the case may be dismissed. Then on the next court date, the case gets dismissed. In Pontiac, they never put the factual evidence of jurisdiction on the table. Otherwise, I could go grab what they gave me. Oh, I did go to Clarkston Courthouse to ask for the factual evidence of jurisdiction there, Merv. You want to know what they handed me? They handed me an unsigned traffic ticket. And you stated that the fact that you signed the traffic ticket is factual evidence of jurisdiction. So that's
I notice he's not playing the clip of me stating that.
basically all I had for Merv, because Merv will say something like this.
What is jurisdiction? That's a sticky wicket. There are lots of kinds of jurisdiction. I'm not going to talk about in rem or quasi in rem jurisdiction, and there may be even others that I'm not going to address, but I'm going to address, I'll say 3 kinds of jurisdiction. I'll break subject matter jurisdiction.
So notice by my question to you, Merv, notice my question, I didn't ask you to break down factual evidence of jurisdiction. What I asked you is where is the proof of jurisdiction on the traffic ticket? That's what I asked you, Merv. And you didn't say yes or no. This is a common tactic with attorneys that I've seen. They always
Did he ask me where it is on the ticket? Well, in order to understand where it is, you'd have to actually understand what he's asking for. That's why I went into what is jurisdiction. I think I also talked about what facts are and what evidence is in this particular video that he's playing from. So I defined all 3 terms, and then when I smushed them together, I showed why they don't make sense when you smush them together.
I'm going to address, I'll say 3 kinds of jurisdiction. I'll break subject matter jurisdiction.
So notice by my question to you, Merv, notice my question, I didn't ask you to break down factual evidence of jurisdiction. What I asked you is where is the proof of jurisdiction on the traffic ticket? That's what I asked you, Merv. And you didn't say yes or no. This is a common tactic with attorneys that I've seen. They always dance around the question. They always want to explain what you just asked them. It's a binary question. It's a simple yes and it's a simple no. But that's how we wrap it up with Merv. I prepared those clips because, again, I saw the videos this morning. So we'll take a brief intermission. I'm going to copy the link to the live stream into the chat, see if anybody wants to come up and do an open panel. I'm down to talk for a little bit. But in closing, here's how Merv closed things out. We'll come back after this, so you can watch this on a loop until we come back.
And it always amazes me every time I go onto some sacred cow, like when I did one on what's that fuckwad's name? Schrodinger's cat. Oh, he's dead now. Don't speak ill of that. Fuck him. He was dumb and wrong. But every time I step on a sacred cow, I get all the same responses. I used to get it when I do videos on auditors and how they were wrong and how they were misunderstanding the law. But I don't get that anymore because, believe it or not, I think auditors are more emotionally balanced than the anti-auditors, the anti-frauditors. Believe it or not.
Broken system, whatever your name is. Do you have an argument? If so, make it.
Believe it or not, I think auditors are more emotionally balanced than the anti-auditors, the anti-frauditors.
He's confusing emotionally balanced with right.
Believe it or not. And it always amazes me every time how I get, because
So yeah, I guess I jumped into that. I don't know how much money auditors are costing taxpayers. I think in general, and again, it's my opinion, I know a lot of people on your channel don't agree with it. I think in general, auditors do a great service to the country and to the community.
You're going to lose votes with that statement. You just lost all the votes that you were going to get from this.
But going back to what Skipper said about 1A activists being, doing a true service for the country, I couldn't agree with that statement more. And I would say that the 1A activists, I mean, pretty much the reason that everybody is here right now is due to 1A activists, if you think about it. I mean, your whole channel exists, Frauditor Troll, because of 1A activists, does it not?
Well, I'm not going to go through all hour and 40 minutes. Do you have anything you'd like to say in closing, Mr. Galt?
No, thanks for having me up.
Thank you for being here, sir. You have a wonderful evening. And with that, folks, I am done for the evening. You guys have a great night.